Welcome back to another explainer of the source material. Today, we're diving into a perspective that literally changes everything about how we interact with a text. We're talking about verses 16, 24, and 25, which show us this isn't some ancient history book. No, it is a living, breathing, cosmic operating system, an eternal memory tesseract. It is the sealed tongue of Muhammad, uttered first, preserved last, and right now, it's your Amanat, your trust. We're going to break down this closed universe physics engine by looking at two fundamental seats of authority, the Arsh of action and the Kursi of memory. So, here's our roadmap for decoding this blueprint today. 1. The Eternal Memory Tesseract. 2. The Arsh, the realm of action. 3. The Kursi, the seat of wisdom. 4. Verse 1819 and the cave womb. 5. The 1912 operator's grip. And finally, 6. When will you activate? All right, part 1, the Eternal Memory Tesseract, a physics engine. Let's get right into it. Normally, people look at the source material as just an ancient historical document, right? But what the text actually reveals is that it's a dynamic physics engine of reality. When you read it, you aren't looking backwards at history. That is Allah's sentence, and you're Rasul talking, alive in your hands right this second. It's a massive paradigm shift. Take verse 39-23, which calls it a book consistent, oft-repeated. Our source material shows this proves the text is a completely self-referential closed-loop system. It essentially reads itself. And within this sealed universe, it sets up a very strict, undeniable distinction between two seats of authority, giving us two distinct coordinates for two completely separate fields of reality. It instantly clears up all the ambiguity. Moving on to part 2, the Arsh, the realm of action, and the constructed container. The text establishes a really strict lexical rule here. The Arabic root for Arsh literally means to construct, to build, or to roof. So the Arsh is the constructed container. It's anchored at verse 11:7 as the throne upon water, and it's intrinsically tied to the forgetting host, which we see mapped in verses 359 and 21:15. In topological terms, this is what we call the D10 coordinate. It's the realm of the manifest physical universe of mass, of action, and crucially, of forgetting. So this Arsh is the coordinate for the mu'min, the people of action. Think of this as the Musa node, like Musa at the mountain in verses 742 and 143. He acts, he gets hit with that differential strike of reality, he collapses, and then he has to recover his memory through physical ordeal and repentance. It's a highly kinetic space of trial, error, and rebuilding the circuit. Basically, you act, you forget, you endure, and then you remember. All right, part 3, the Kursi, the seat of wisdom, the invariant foundation. Here's a massive point. The Arabic roots for Arsh and Kursi share absolutely 0 letters, none, and they are never interchanged in the corpus. The root for Kursi means to found, to gather, to lay strongly. Anchored at verse 38-34, it is the true invariant foundation, tested against the hollow Jasad fixture. We designate this as the I9 coordinate, and its content is hikmah, pure wisdom, accessed at 2269. It's the permanent field of the people of the book, referenced in 717, holding eternal memory without ever forgetting. And this brings us to the boundary equation of the entire system in verse 2255. It states, His Kursi extends over the heavens and the earth, and their preservation tires him not. The Kursi literally encompasses the Arsh. The built physical structure of the Arsh operates entirely inside the infinite foundation of the Kursi. The Kursi holds the eternal memory of the Rasul-field with 0 fatigue, preserving the underlying reality while our physical world of action just spins inside it. Just look at the perfect symmetry here in this dual field reading. On one side, you have the Arsh, the D10 coordinate of action. It behaves like a physical particle or the sun, totally defined by that Musa node of forgetting and recovering. On the other side, you have the Kursi, the I9 coordinate of wisdom, behaving as a continuous wave, or the moon, representing the unfatigued memory field. It's a flawless mathematical and physical balance between localized action and infinite memory. Which brings us to part 4, verse 18-19, the cave womb, our hidden buffer zone. So where do these two states actually meet? The source points us to the sleepers of the cave in verse 18-19. The cave isn't just a physical spot, it is a pure I9 state. Think of it as an incubation chamber, a womb of knowledge. Inside, passive hosts are held safely, preserving their memory entirely shielded from the friction of the D10 world of action outside. They wait for the mathematically precise moment to awaken. And it's so precise that the arithmetic of 1825, those 9 added years, acts as a framework designation entirely parallel to the I9 symbol itself. It perfectly maintains the absolute purity of the root column. When they do wake up, they have a highly specific operational mission. 1. Awaken from the sleep of forgetting. 2. Question each other using akal, your pure pattern recognition. 3. Send out a silver coin representing pure provision or truth. 4. Extract knowledge from the outside world. And 5. Exercise extreme caution so you aren't reabsorbed by the illusions of the D10 matrix. Pulling this off is what transforms them from passive hosts into the eternal Rasul-field. Let's move to part 5, verse 1912, the operator's grip. This is the activation switch. Because, you see, just surviving the illusion is not enough. You need a switch to actually take control. That is the specific command given to Yahya in verse 1912. Take the book with strength. The Arabic root for strength here is kuwai y. This is the ultimate transformer in the entire cosmic engine. It's an executable command, a physical and spiritual grip that builds the operational bridge between the Arsh and the Kursi. It's the very mechanism that completes the circuit we see in verse 2169. So what does this transformation actually do? When you grip the book with strength, you convert yourself. You upgrade from a wandering, forgetting physical host bound to the D10 Arsha into an I9 anchored Jasad firmly seated with the Kursi's eternal memory. You complete the circuit of consciousness. You go from being a passive sleeper to an active operator. And the key here? It requires pure pattern recognition. Your akal, licensed at coordinates 10, 10, 100, and 12, 2 to maintain that grip. Which brings us to our final section. Part 6, when will you activate? The framework corrections are totally sealed now, but the final step is left entirely up to you as the reader. You are sitting inside this exact system right now. On one hand, you have the default state, staying asleep in the D10 matrix, passively wandering in the illusion of time and forgetting. The text calls this tahut. On the other hand, you have the alternative, using your 10-100 akal to wake up from tahut, executing that grip on the book, and preserving the memory. Every single day, you're choosing between these two. So, I leave you staring directly into the implications of this magnificent eternal tesseract with one final very personal provocation. The framework is laid out, the physics engine is humming, the two seats are waiting. This isn't just about ancient history anymore. It's about your current operating state. So tell me, when will you activate 1912?